Yo, what's shaking AC?
Well, I'm glad you remembered how to say that.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been on a bit of a Engine Rob Rants hiatus lately, haven't we?
We have, yeah. Well, it's pretty hard to record rants when you're like running around we were at the International Franchise Association, the team and yourself and me. And then we were at the CFA, the Canadian Franchise Association. That was in Ottawa. Then we were at the AC retreat
Yes,
in
we were.
Mexico.
That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
So
Cancun, Mexico.
yeah. So pretty cool. So before we get into, I don't even know what we're going to talk about today, but I got to ask, are you whitening your teeth?
No, I just have incredibly
No.
fantastic oral hygiene.
For all the ladies out there saying, right?
Right.
Awesome. Okay. Well, what about this for something to talk about? The AC retreat. I think there's been a lot of buzz created. We've had a lot of real great feedback from the people that attended, which is exciting. Thank goodness. We were sweating a little, well, literally sweating in Mexico, but even leading up, it's our first time running this, and it was definitely a big undertaking. And maybe we can share, because we've been hearing a lot of questions and feedback and all that. Maybe we can share a little bit about it, and make sure that we give some value to our audience, and make sure that we ensure that we leave everybody with at least a couple of kind of takeaways. What do you think?
For sure. Yeah, I think that's valuable because not only that, but there's a good sort of contrast between a lot of the other conferences and things that we've been to. So we can pull out what we've learned that makes it work, what we've seen franchisors use to really thrive.
Sure. I have to preface it with, I think some people might be like, well, that sounds like this conference, or that sounds like that conference. And there are definitely some things that we did, and we can share those in a minute, I think, to really create the connection between franchisors that was so desired. So
Yeah. And actually, I would say that probably one of my biggest key takeaways, because we're always talking about franchisors working with other franchisors, right? And so I feel that a lot of franchisors will go to a trade show or a conference or something along those lines, and they'll go into networking mode and they'll try to connect with other franchisors, but it sometimes ends up being a little bit of a superficial connection because there's so much going on, so many people you need to connect, so many places you need to go. And seeing what happened at the retreat is it wasn't just connecting, it wasn't just networking, it was actually building like a deeper relationship, and they've now, for lack of a better word, like a friendship, they now connect even after the retreat, looking for information from each other, looking for best practices and how to grow. I think that was fantastic to see in person.
It was. And I would add that they not only did they network and build relationships, they problem solved. There was a lot of problem solving that went on. And so, we asked them in advance, come to the retreat really clear on 3 of your biggest pain points you're trying to solve. And then I love that, like, on day 2 of the whole thing, it was like, okay, so how many of you still have pain points left? And basically nobody did, because they'd spent so much time like problem solving. I was a little nervous because I thought, well, when they hit the pool and hit the margaritas and the tequila shots, maybe they'll just throw all the business talk out the door and not get the results they're looking for. So I thought it was really cool that happened. And then another thing that I thought was really neat is when I asked them on the last day, I said, how many of you put up your hand if you're sitting here right now and you made a connection with someone in the room who you did not know before this, that you feel you've to the point where you could pick up the phone and call them to talk about a problem. And everybody put their hand up. So I think a key takeaway here that people need to really remember is the importance of surrounding yourself with people that raise you up, people that are like-minded, and people that can support you, and people that understand your challenges. And I think that's what happened here. I mean, it happens at all of the franchise conferences and things that you can go to, but really be very focused on the value of that. When you go to a franchise conference, it's not all about just the education or just the new connections that you're going to call later, but what about that, the deeper connections and the
Mhm.
deeper support?
And I think a lot of that deeper connection was fostered through the style in which the education was delivered from you and your team, right? It wasn't just a lot of people talking at them. They were collaborating with each other to find these solutions and to ask things, which I guess sort of dovetails into another key point that I wanted to mention was the value of getting out of your business and working on it rather than in it. And I know that that's like a common thing that everyone talks about, blah, 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 blah. And you could say, okay, I'm setting up a Zoom call with a bunch of franchisors and I'm working on my business. But if you recall in the book Traction by Gino Wickman, when he talks about working on your business, he means like literally getting away, like go somewhere else, And for, I think a lot of franchisors based in the US and Canada, it really doesn't matter which city you pick, there's somebody from that city. So actually leaving those two countries, putting franchisors into a very unique place that you don't usually experience at trade shows and conferences really makes them maybe subliminally feel that they are actually outside of their business, things are being taken care of, and it helps bring their focus to working on the business.
Yeah, that's the thing. People think, oh, I can't take time away from my business, but then, it is a whole new level when you get away, because it creates that space to think about what's really important, things that you normally would have a blind spot on. And then also being around those other, around your peers, and having them help you see your blind spots and work on them. One other thing I think is, this is not a key takeaway. Well, maybe it is actually. I'm going to turn it into a valuable key takeaway because I love to do that. The way we ran the sessions was a little bit bold, I think, rather than, us bringing in experts to give the expertise, we gave the expertise. And because we believe that it's not, well, first of all, we have the expertise on the team, but people don't always want to hear from somebody that is so far ahead of where you're at. They want to hear more real, I guess is what I would say. And I think the takeaway for people in this is sometimes you have to do things different than other people do them. Yeah. And you get great results. It could have gone either way. We've gotten incredible feedback for how we did the sessions. Thank goodness. I was a little nervous. But we knew that we wanted to try that. And so we did take a risk there, but so I guess there's two messages in that. One is taking a risk. Sometimes you got to take risk to get the payoff. And number two is stop and think, like, why are we doing something like everyone else? I'm almost becoming like the anti-panel person, not like AUNT, like ANTI, where, you just go like, you just hear from people that are classic, sitting at a table with a microphone in front of them. Like, let's get rid of the table. Let's make it interactive. Let's make it fun. Like, this is going to sound silly to people that weren't there, but we really made it interactive. We had a mock trial. We had a game show, we had movement, like let's get into groups and move around and do things. It was really collaborative. So I hope that inspires people to do the same, whether with their peers or if you're a franchisor. When you're running your conference, you don't need to do it the way you've always done it. Maybe there's another way to do it. Maybe you can, shake things up and brainstorm that with your team, or reach out to us. We'd love to help.
You definitely eat your own cooking, because you're always talking about, take that leap, do something different. Doesn't have to be done the same way. Connect with people that are in the same realm as you are. And so yourself and the AC team actually did that and showed that as an example to everyone else. And I think it definitely inspired a lot of people. And so for anyone listening to this, you hear this all the time from Angela and her team and myself and a number of other franchisors. Work on your business instead of in your business. Step out of your comfort zone. Network with people that are, in the same realm as you. And this was just sort of proof in the pudding, is that it's not just talk. You guys did it, and it seemingly has worked.
Yeah, thanks. And the lifelong friendships that were created, it just warms my heart. It was so cool to see. So I think that's probably a good note to wrap this up on. What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up. You're going to count me down?
I am.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Go be awesome.